In this topic, we are going to deal with formula, which generally involves changing the subject of the formula, and we will also talk about variation. We have several types of variation. We have direct variation, we have inverse variation, we also have joint variation, we have partial variation. And in this case, we are going to start with formula. We will take several examples of questions involving changing the subject of a formula or expressing an item in terms of the other. So, our first question, we are given question 1, make x the subject of the formula. We are given n is equal to p over the square root of ax plus bx. We are supposed to make x the subject of the formula. In this case, we find that x is under the square root sign. So the first step is to square both sides of this equation. When you square n, you get n squared is equal to, when you square p, you get p squared divided by, when we square the square root of that, we will only remove the square root sign, and therefore we remain with ax plus bx. So that is the first step. Then we cross multiply. This is the same as over 1. So we cross multiply. We have p squared multiplied by 1, which will be given as p squared is equal to n squared multiplied by ax plus bx. That is the second step. Here we will have p squared is equal to n squared multiplied by this, you have n squared ax plus n squared bx. We have n squared multiplied by x, n squared multiplied by bx. Since we want to make x the subject of the formula, let's have these two expressions involving x on the left hand side. So we will have n squared ax plus n squared bx is equal to p squared. So in this case, because the two expressions are containing x, let's factorize x outside the bracket. So we will have x outside, so we will remain inside with n squared a plus n squared bx over x. We will remain with n squared b, and this will give us is equal to p squared. So since we want to remain with x on the left hand side, we divide both sides of the equation by this expression in bracket. So we will have our x being equal to p squared divided by the expression in the bracket, which is n squared a plus n squared b. And this is how the equation will appear, because we have made x the subject of the formula. One thing you have to ensure when you are making, for example, x the subject of the formula, x should not be contained in the formula. This is the subject of the formula. This is the formula. So you find that the letter which is representing the subject of the formula should not appear on the right hand side. Once you find that the value of x is also appearing on the right hand side, it means you have not successfully made that letter the subject of the formula. Question 2. Question 2, you are told that q is equal to the square root of r squared minus y squared all over y squared plus 3. All these under the square root sign. We want to make y the subject of the formula. The same way, our first step here is to square both sides of the expression so as to remove the square root sign. When you square on the left hand side, we have q squared is equal to, you will remove the square root sign once you square, and therefore you will have r squared minus y squared over y squared plus 3 without the square root sign. From here now, we will just say this is the same as over 1, and therefore we multiply this by this, and we multiply 1 by that. So we have q squared into bracket y squared plus 3 should be the same as r squared minus y squared. Because when you multiply r squared minus y squared by 1, you will remain with the same r squared minus y squared. We open the bracket on the left hand side. We have q squared y squared plus, this is 3. 3 q squared is equal to r squared minus y squared. Since we want to make y the subject of the formula, we have to write any expression involving y on the left hand side. So we have this y coming to the left hand side. We have q squared y squared plus y squared. Because this is negative, when it comes to the left hand side it becomes plus, is equal to, you have r squared, we have 3q squared on the left hand side. When you take it to the right hand side it becomes minus 3q squared. So in this case, we can factorize y squared, it's common to both. So we will have y squared, then into bracket q squared y squared over y squared, we get q squared plus y squared over y squared is 1 is equal to r squared minus 3q squared. Once we have this y squared factorized out, we will divide here by q squared plus 1, which will eliminate that. And we also divide this side by q squared plus 1. So we will have, therefore, y squared will be equal to r squared minus 3q squared all over the expression in the bracket, which is q squared plus 1. And therefore, y squared is equal to r squared minus 3q squared over q squared plus 1. So we want to make y the subject. If we want to remain with y squared, we have to get the square root of y. Whatever we do on the left hand side must be done on the right hand side. So the square root of y squared is y must be equal to the square root of the whole of that, which is r squared minus 3q squared all over q squared plus 1. And therefore, we have made y the subject of the formula. Question 3. Question 3, we are given w is equal to the square root of h minus 2fl, the whole of that over 3f, and we are supposed to make f the subject of the formula. So this question also involves the removal of the square root sign. So we have the first step, we have to square both sides of the equation. And therefore, when you square w, we have w squared is equal to, this square root sign will be removed, and therefore we remain with h minus 2fl divided by 3f. As we have already done in the other questions, we are going to multiply, cross multiply here. This is the same as over 1. So we will have 3w squared f. We are multiplying 3f by w squared. We will have the number appearing as the first and the letters coming later. So we have 3w squared f is equal to h minus 2fl. Since we want to make f the subject of the formula, we must have all the expressions containing f on the left hand side. So we take this one, it's containing f, and therefore we take it to the left hand side. We have 3w squared f plus, this is minus, so when it comes to the left hand side it becomes positive. 2fl is equal to h. So we can factorize f outside because it's contained in both expressions. We have f outside into bracket 3w squared f over f, to find that this f will cancel with this f, and therefore will remain with 3w squared. So in the first expression, we remain with 3w squared, plus we have 2fl divided by f. You will have f going with f, and therefore remain with 2l, plus 2l is equal to h. So as to remain with f, we have to divide both sides by this expression. So this we divide by 3w squared plus 2l. We also divide here by 3w squared plus 2l. And therefore, we can have our f. We can have our f becoming h all over 3w squared plus 2l. And therefore, we have successfully made f the subject of the formula.